This man suffers from a bizarre condition. He can't stand the sight of any crack or gap. The moment he spots one, he trembles uncontrollably with fear. He seals every crevice shut with tape just to feel safe. But this time, even after turning his home into an airtight coffin, that nameless dread still won't leave him. Just as his nerves are stretched to the breaking point, he suddenly notices something in a cardboard box in front of him, an eye, staring right at him. The man is scared out of his mind. He throws open the door and runs for his life. But the emergency exit in the hallway won't budge, as if it's been welded shut. By the time he's found again, he's already dead. His body is twisted into a grotesque spiral, and his mouth is stuffed with excrement. The police are completely baffled by how he died. There's not a single clue at the scene, so they hastily close the case as a fall from a building. But a reporter named Sue Xin picks up on something strange in the coverage. To her, the man's bizarre death isn't the work of ghosts. It's a social mystery that could make her career. She's a woman of action. The very next morning, she shows up at the home of the dead man's girlfriend, Qingzi. But it's Qingzi's mother who answers the door. Looking utterly exhausted, she tells Sue Xin that Qingzi has locked herself in her room ever since Awei's death and won't respond no matter how much they call out to her. Just as Sue Xin tries to learn more details, a piercing scream erupts from Qingzi's room upstairs. They both realize something is terribly wrong and force the door open. The moment they burst in, they're met with a deeply unsettling sight. Every object in the room that has a gap or a seam, even the edges of the windows, has been sealed tight with tape. And Qingzi herself has taped her own eyes shut. She's shaking violently on the bed. Despite her mother's constant reassurances, Qingzi acts as though she's seeing something utterly terrifying. It's not until she's taken to the hospital and injected with a sedative that her emotions barely begin to settle. Seizing the moment, Sue Xin quickly asks her what's going on. Qingzi says that 2 weeks ago, she and her boyfriend went camping in the mountains. They were having a great time. But then, out of nowhere, they heard a strange ringing sound. Before they knew it, they had wandered into a village called Majiatan. Inside the village, they found a large ancestral hall. What terrified them was the feeling that something behind the windows was watching them. Frightened, the two of them fled. But after they got home, her boyfriend changed. He became paranoid, constantly saying that something in the shadows was watching him. Not long after, he died under mysterious circumstances. Qingzi breaks down, saying her boyfriend was killed by a curse, and now that thing has set its sights on her too. After hearing all of this, Sue Xin can hardly believe it, but she knows that if she wants the truth, she'll have to visit Majiatan herself. So the next day, she drags her boyfriend Jack along for the trip. But when Sue Xin arrives at the location based on the photos Qingzi gave her, she's stunned. There's no Majiatan here, just a long, sprawling lake. Just as they're about to leave, Jack suddenly cries out in terror, telling her not to turn around. That only makes it worse. Sue Xin's curiosity is instantly piqued, and she insists on looking. She turns around to find a little girl standing right behind them, staring straight at them. Sue Xin wants to figure out where this girl came from, but Jack grabs her and they bolt. What neither of them realizes is that the girl has already marked them. Back home, Sue Xin and Jack start digging into records about Majiatan. They discover that the village was submerged by a massive flood 50 years ago. Now Sue Xin is even more confused. If the village is underwater, how did Qingzi get inside Majiatan? And how did she take those photos? Unable to figure it out, they decide to ask Qingzi again. But on the way to the hospital, they run into Qingzi wandering the streets in a daze. They're both stunned. What's going on? It turns out that just 10 minutes earlier, Qingzi had been calmed down by a nurse and was about to lie down to sleep. Then a few drops of filthy mud dripped from the ceiling. She looked up and saw, inside the ventilation duct, a pair of ghastly pale hands and a pair of blood-red eyes. The sight terrified Qingzi. She screamed and fled the hospital. But no matter where she ran, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Eventually, the torment drove her to a complete breakdown. Qingzi staggers into the middle of the road. The next second, a speeding truck slams into her. She's hit so hard her body is scattered in pieces. Witnessing this horrific scene, Sue Xin freezes in shock. Now every lead is gone. How Qingzi got into Majiatan will remain a mystery forever. At this point in the investigation, Sue Xin is scared too. She decides to go back to her normal work and drop the whole thing. What she doesn't realize is that she can no longer walk away unscathed. Sure enough, that very night when she gets home, something strange happens. Jack should have been there with dinner ready, but the apartment is pitch dark. As she searches for him, a cabinet nearby suddenly makes a strange noise. Curious, Sue Xin opens it and sees something horrifying. Jack has been dismembered into 8 pieces and stuffed inside the cabinet, and he seems to still be alive. His eyes are still blinking. Sue Xin's scalp tingles with terror. She wants to run, but her legs won't obey. Just then, Jack walks through the front door. Sue Xin realizes that everything she just saw was a hallucination. But before she can even catch her breath, she notices that Jack has bought a huge amount of tape. Could it be that he's been cursed too? Sue Xin is about to ask, but Jack forces her out of the apartment. No matter how much she screams and begs, he won't open the door. He's doing this to protect her. Jack is then taken to the hospital, but he's already had a complete mental breakdown. The moment a nurse so much as touches him, he lets out a blood-curdling scream. Seeing her boyfriend in this state, Su Xian knows there's no turning back. She has to figure out what this curse is and save him. After some extensive searching, Su Xian tracks down a scholar named John. John visited Majiatan when he was young and encountered the curse himself, but he survived. Su Xian immediately asks John what the curse is and how to break it, but John doesn't start with the solution. Instead, he recounts his experience in Majiatan from years ago. Back then, John was a free-spirited wanderer who loved to travel. He stumbled upon Majiatan by chance. He found the scenery beautiful and the environment pleasant, so he decided to stay for a while. That's when he accidentally uncovered the village's horrifying secret. John noticed that every night, a ringing sound would echo through the village. To get to the bottom of it, he followed the sound to an abandoned ancestral hall. There, beneath the floorboards, he saw the eye of a child. The child glanced at him once and vanished. John pried open the floor and found a bottomless cave beneath it. Inside was a little girl. From this girl, he learned the truth. The villagers of Majiatan were cold-blooded killers. Whenever wealthy travelers came to visit, the villagers would murder them and steal their belongings. This led to Majiatan being constantly haunted. To solve the problem, the village chief captured a little girl and imprisoned her in the cave, using a living person as a sacrifice to suppress the vengeful spirits. Once John understood what was happening, he wanted to rescue the girl. But suddenly, that eerie ringing started again, and a girl's vengeful spirit appeared. She was one of the travelers the villagers had brutally murdered. John collapsed to the ground in terror, but the girl behind him held up a necklace and gently shook it a few times. The vengeful spirit in front of John slowly faded away. It turned out the necklace was a sacred artifact, specifically designed to suppress evil spirits. John then carried the girl on his back, took the necklace, and escaped the village. Without the artifact's suppression, Majiatan was plagued by disaster after disaster from that point on. The villagers were all tormented to death by the girl's vengeful spirit, and anyone who wandered into Majiatan from the outside would be haunted by the girl's curse, living in constant terror. Even John couldn't escape it. To survive, he gouged out his own eyes. Only then did he manage to evade the curse. After learning the full truth, Su Xian is too shocked to speak. Is the only way to break this curse really to blind yourself? And in that moment, Su Xian suddenly understands the girl's resentment. It's not just revenge. It's a desperate accusation against every cold, indifferent bystander. And Su Xian, a reporter who came here chasing views and clicks, isn't she just another cold bystander herself? After much deliberation, Su Xian borrows the necklace from John. She believes there must still be some goodness left in the girl's heart. She decides to find the girl and attempt one last conversation. But before Su Xian can even make her move, Jack encounters something terrifying again. That familiar ringing starts echoing in his ears. Then he sees a pair of blood-red eyes, staring at him relentlessly. Jack runs in a panic, but no matter where he goes, the feeling of being watched follows him like a shadow. Finally, the girl appears right in front of Jack. With a piercing scream, Jack loses his mind once more. When Su Xian learns what happened, she's devastated. She knows the girl is behind all of this. She can't afford to waste another second. She immediately takes the necklace and heads to the village entrance. Fortunately, she finds the girl. Su Xian speaks from the heart. She tells the girl,
私は生贄になるために来たんじゃないの。あなたはもう死んでいるから、命を助けることはできない。でもね、あなたが死んでいった時の悲しみ、恨み、苦しみ、私が全部聞いてあげる。これであなたの生きた証を残してあげるから。だからお願い、シンジを助けて。
But the girl reveals her ghastly ghostly face. She's clearly refusing to talk. Su Xian quickly pulls out the necklace. Only then does the girl finally return to what she looked like when she was alive. But that doesn't mean her resentment is gone. She takes Su Xian into the village from her memories. There, Su Xian witnesses the horrifying deaths of the girl and her mother. Originally, the girl and her mother had gotten lost and came to Majiatan just to stay for one night. At first, the villagers welcomed the mother and daughter warmly. But when night fell, they showed their true faces. They forced themselves on the girl's mother and tried to kill her. The girl desperately begged the villagers outside for help, but they all stood by and did nothing. The girl could only watch helplessly as her mother was brutally murdered and buried. Her cries of anguish echoed through the entire rainy night. Her overwhelming hatred eventually formed into a curse, and the name of that curse is the Peeping Eye. She swore to torment every last one of those vile villagers to death. But those villagers weren't about to sit around and wait to die. To escape the curse and suppress the girl's resentment, they immediately built a temple. They took the necklace the girl's mother had worn in life, enchanted it, and turned it into a sacred artifact. Then they grabbed an orphan and made her guard the place. As long as the artifact remained, the girl's vengeful spirit would never come out to harm anyone, having witnessed the full truth. Su Xian is filled with disgust for the villagers. At the same time, she feels deep sympathy for the girl. She knows that words alone aren't enough to dissolve the girl's resentment. Perhaps only her mother's necklace can offer the girl some small comfort, so she places the necklace at the spot where the girl died. But the very next second, the girl bursts up from the ground. She even mistakes Su Xian for her mother. Only then does Su Xian realize in horror, the girl never wanted comfort. What she wants is someone to stay with her forever. Su Xian struggles desperately to break free, but she's dragged into the earth, step by step, buried forever in Magiatan. As for John, who's lost the artifact that kept him safe, well, his fate goes without saying. Just look at that smile on his face, and you'll know he's going to be just fine. After all, if you can't see it, the fear doesn't exist. A year passes in the blink of an eye. Jack is still alive, but he's permanently blind. He writes the legend of the peeping eye into a book. The moment it hits the shelves, it becomes a massive sensation. But Jack can't feel an ounce of joy. He sits quietly at home. Online, people are busy discussing celebrity gossip, funny memes, and his book. The horrifying truth behind a drowned village and multiple lost lives doesn't even make a ripple in the flood of information. Only he, trapped in eternal darkness, chews on a truth no one believes. He sits there, holding a wedding ring in a daze. He was going to give this ring to Su Xian, but now it's too late for all of that. And then, suddenly, he hears Su Xian's voice. It turns out Su Xian has become the new curse. There, above the ruins submerged beneath the lake, she waits for the next curious visitor. And that's where today's story ends. I'm Jack. See you next time.